we want to fact check something. I had read an interview that Jonathan Groff was going off on bragging rights that he, as King George III, had set up you and your husband during the run of Hamilton. And I was like, is that true? We were trying to figure out if it was, but apparently it is true.
It is absolutely true. Jonathan Groff was a mutual friend, and it was actually before Jonathan had joined the production, but he set up Steve and I on a blind date, and the rest is history, as they say.
Hey.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's so funny. I thought you would have, and you didn't know each other before that? Because you're so like,
I'm like Broadway legends,
of the
just
theater
connecting on a blind date.
Broadway legends.
No, we didn't. Well, what's funny is actually Steve had come to see Natasha Pierre when I was doing it off Broadway. And, like we were talking about this moment, and I was like, I don't remember meeting you. And he was like, what do you mean you don't remember meeting me? And I was like, no, it's just that like, all I remember is like, the show was just so intense that I'm sure I was just like, my brain was just not with me at the end of that show because it was just such an emotional show. But I was like, there's a picture somewhere because I remember who he came with that night. And I remember they were like, let's take a picture. And I remember one of my castmates being obsessed with Steve. So like, I knew he was there, but I just didn't like remember that moment in my mind. And so I found a picture like off of somebody's Instagram, and I was like, see, there I am, but where are you? Like, where are we in the picture? And literally, he's right next to me in the picture.
No.
So clearly, like we had met, like our arms were just like, around each other's shoulders, like, taking a picture post-show with the whole cast and, Steven Pasquale and co. But we had met that night briefly, but the real connection definitely happened after Jonathan Groff had set us up.
Wow, that's so nice.
I know, I love it. Well, also just like another layer of never quite saying goodbye to Hamilton. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause you're like, because not that you ever want to say goodbye to a thing, but the way that this Hamilton is so otherworldly in a way that it's like something is always going to like trigger a memory to it, weirdly.
Exactly. Well, and like that's the cool thing about the theater world. Like it's so small. It's such a small community. And whereas like with something like film and television, you have like this sort of like final product. Like you have the thing, you have the show, you have the film to sort of look back at and remember like, oh yeah, that's the thing that we made. But so often in theater, Hamilton as an exception, you're sort of like piecing together these memories in your mind and through photographs and pictures. And you're like, oh man, what a crazy experience. But definitely having Steve, in my life at that time, it was such like a crazy whirlwind of learning and growing and trying to figure out who I was as an artist. And at the same time, having this amazing, giant love come into my life at that time. It just felt like, wow, I feel so lucky that not only do I get to do what I love, but I get to share it with somebody that I love by my side, and, just made it all the more special.